Why are white Americans almost never called European Americans in the same way black Americans are almost always called African Americans? It just seems a bit weird to me, as a European, lol. It makes it sound like American means white, and everybody else needs a prefix. Because when the term white was originally being coined in the 17th century, not all Europeans were seen as equal. English, French, Dutch, and a few others were considered white, while Slavs, the Irish, Italians, Greeks, and several others were not. White is an arbitrary term fabricated a few hundred years ago to arbitrarily give some Europeans perceived status over everybody else. Actually, African America is pretty much considered incorrect at this point. Just call black people black people. Not all black, dark-skinned people are African American. Some of them are just African, or they're native Haitian, or maybe they're just naturally dark but were born in a country considered Asian. As a person with lots of friends of color, they had to correct me and tell me, I'm black. Just call me black. It's weird to dance around it like being black is a problem. Edit. The point is, it's no longer generally acceptable to call black people African America. It's more offensive than saying black. Edit 2. I shouldn't have said offensive, it's not offensive. It's a mouthful to say and can be inaccurate, which may lead to unintended offense. Now that you mention it, that is a bit weird. Oh, you're an American? Then that means you're white. I'm actually Hispan. Nope, you're white. The real question is why aren't Americans called Americans? Something comical here is there are plenty whites from Africa. So are they African Americans if they relocate to the States? Because we can use our actual country of origin instead as in French American. African Americans can't as easily trace back where they came from. Jesse Jackson coined the term, African American, in the 80s, and it was used to give descendants of slaves, i.e. people who had no clue what their ethnic makeup was, some kind of a heritage. It was meant to be a catch-all ethnicity to compensate for the fact that descendants of slaves couldn't trace their ethnicity any further back than the U.S. White people don't tend to have that problem. So, European American isn't really necessary because most white people can say, I'm Belgian and Scottish on my mom's side and Spanish on my dad's side. I took one of those ancestry tests. They sent back a plain white piece of paper as my results. I am not sure, to be honest. And it's pretty funny when white folks assume every black person is African American. My folks are from the Caribbean, so calling them African American would be incorrect. Also have friends who are Hispanic but look black. Calling them African American would also be incorrect. It's just a really weird label. Something else I don't understand. Maybe someone here will know why. When filling out paperwork, often it asks if we are Hispanic. You can refuse to answer. I just don't see why it matters. We keep trying, then Europeans get mad at us for calling ourselves European. Because not all white Americans are from Europe. Most people who have been here for several generations are straight-up mutts. My mom had her DNA done, and she is literally a small percentage of everything. White, black, Asian, Hispanic, native. It's crazy. Our ancestors pretty much bred with anyone, and everyone regardless of race. 2 reasons. 1. Americans of African descent were often brought as slaves and forcibly separated from their culture, making it difficult to differentiate between different original African ethnicities the way the descendants of European immigrants are able to do. 2. White is not really synonymous with European. At various times it has referred to a tiny subsection of Europe, a larger part of Europe, or more recently extended all the way into Western Asia, North Africa, and the Middle East. Lately it has even started to become fashionable to include South Asians in that August category. Basically, white means diddly shit aside from whatever people want it to mean in any given moment, so it's not a good equivalent for anything. Because America is the most racially focused country on the planet. It's almost like they need to continue the racial agenda. No one else cares. When you're the majority in the US, you don't get special treatment when it comes to labels. Even after living in America for 45 years. People will ask me where I'm from. Like I'm not American, because I'm Asian. Like there's no way an Asian person can be American. So stating I'm Asian American is because some white people can't wrap their heads around Asian American, African American, Native American being American because of the way they look. Most white people are too stupid or just don't care to learn about other cultures, yet alone their own. It's all stupid. Black or white, if you were born there or have citizenship you are just an American. Political wankers trying to make color a problem. Boring. We are all descendants of Africa, so the point is utterly stupid. Especially when some Americans have never even been to Africa. Why do Americans always have to be part of a group or an institution? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Your skin color isn't a club. Just waiting for America to start talking about the ginger community or the able to lick their own elbow community. Italian American, Franco-Americans, Korean American, Japanese American, Russian American, etc. It's not just the one term, op. Elon Musk is an African American. Cuz race is a made-up concept and all these labels are bull.